Hello, hello everyone. Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's relax and craft time. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. You can find me at penguinandfish.com and at penguinandfish everywhere. I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central, where we sit and relax and we make stuff. So guys, tonight we are continuing the Modkid Travel Art Folio by Patty Young of Modkid. There's a link for the PDF version of this pattern in the description box here. We got pretty far. I think we got pretty far yesterday. We have the whole outside done. None of the inside. That's what we're going to do next. But we did the little velcro flap. And the handles, we got those on as well with the cute little X and the square with the X through it. So I think that's pretty far. And today we're going to do the inside, the left edge of the inside. So we are going to try and do this whole bit with a pouch and a flap and all the little crayon holder areas tonight. So that's the plan. Thanks again for coming in. Again, there is a link for the PDF version of this file in the project in the description box. And feel free to share your progress on your pouch, your travel art folio in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group on Facebook. So thanks. Hi everyone, see you popping in. I'm gonna flip you around. It's sewing time. Okay, here we are tonight. So again, what we're working on, here's the Modkid Travel Art Folio. I'm hoping to get this inside left edge done tonight, so we'll see how that goes. So first of all, I need the inside area. I just kind of put it together with it, but I need this piece that we put that medium interfacing. Oh, Susan, you're caught up. Awesome. So here's the front that we have done. It's got that fusible fleece. We got the handles and the pouch sewn on, but we don't need that till later, so I'm going to set that aside. Moving on to the inner piece tonight. So first thing we need to do is we need to mark it up like what we did with the last piece. So I need to, first of all, remember I had that little extra edge. Let's trim that off first. That is what we will do first today. I'm gonna keep it a little extra edge, I think. Okay. So I am going to start from this side here. I'm going to mark my 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to mark 9 inches. I'm going to keep marking the 9 inches down. So let's start. I'm going to use this ruler because I can go all the way across with it. Oh, this doesn't have a 1/2 inch marker though. There it goes. This way it does. Every ruler's different. Okay, there's our first 1/2 inch. I'm going to use my water erasable fabric marking pen. You could probably just use a pencil, but this way I can get rid of it with a little bit of water later. Should probably hold on to the ruler, huh? So it doesn't show up too well on this green, so I'm just trying to really make sure I get a good line here. You can use dressmaker's chalk or something else too if you wanted. All right, there we go, 1/2 inch line. So now we need to go 9 inches from there. I think I'll just do 9 inches at the top, and then I have my 1/2 inch on this ruler here. That should do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ha, good guess. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go across here. This is the 9-inch mark. It's actually 9.5 inches from the top, but it's 9 inches from our first mark. Okay, scooch it up, and we need to make 9 inches from there, and then our little 1/2 inch at the end. So now I'll use the 9-inch mark. I'm lining the 9-inch mark with the line I just drew. Let's just double check because I'm scared always. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're fine. We'll go right here. Thanks again for joining me tonight. It's really fun seeing all your guys' little folio progress pop up in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. It's so neat, all the different fabric choices. Even though a lot of them are from the same collection, a lot of them are from this the Primavera collection by Patty Young, because that's what she had in her kits. But they all look so different still. It's just really neat. All right, you know what? I'm going to measure 9 inches from here instead of the 1/2 inch from the bottom, just to check on how much space I have at the bottom. Okay, so it looks like I'm pretty shy at the bottom here. So I don't know. Let's just... This should be a 1/2 inch at the end, but I really only have like almost less than a 1/4 inch. I'm going to just push up a hair, and I'll just have to adjust as we go. So I'm a little shy, but I think we'll be okay still. Maybe I shouldn't have cut off that edge. Oh well. Alrighty, we are marked up. All right, so now from now on, we are going to treat this not the long way. We're going to treat it like horizontal. So I'm putting all my little grasshoppers upwards. So when I open the tote, I can see it. Oh, Rosalie, your book and fabric came today. Yay, awesome. Oh, you're embellishing your tote too, or your folio. That's fun. Yeah, it would have been cute to embellish it. I mean, you know, there's still time. I could embellish the front. If you want to add embellishments, now is the time to do it. And the embellishment area, when you fold this into thirds, once you've done the front, now you can embellish this area here. If you wanted to add, you know, embroidery or, you know, even applique or something would be pretty cute, or, you know, a name or whatever. Now is the time to do it before we sew the front and the back together. So there's time to do it yet. All right, so now I have my first section over here and the seam allowance. So now we can move on. Marking this up was all step 5. Now we're at step 6. I did have to read over this a few times, but I think I got it now. So we are going to start with the main pouch piece. Again, we wrote it down, which has made this so much easier. So don't need that label anymore. I'm going to just start by giving that a press. Press with the kitties. I just think this fabric combination is just the prettiest. I'm really liking working with this fabric too. Fun, fun. Okay. So let's scooch this guy out of the way for just a hair. Okay, fold the main pouch piece right sides together so that you have a 7-inch, right sides together, so you have a 7-inch by 10-inch piece. So just like that. So right sides together. Right sides again, meaning that the printed side. Kitty, scratch it. I'm just you know, sometimes it's hard to line up things perfectly when you hold the piece like this and try and line it up. So I just scratch it. I call it kitty scratching. Scratch the fabric until it lines up. All right, and we are going to stitch along the right 7-inch side only. So we're going to sew right down here only. Oh, you're working on a sew along? Well, yeah, so all the videos will be here yet, Christine. So there'll be time. So I am going to be flipping back and forth between my threads today, which is, you know, one of the downsides of using a different top stitching thread. I'm using that thicker 12 weight top stitching, that cute orange. But when I'm doing the normal sewing, I'm using just my gray 50 weight, and which means I'm going to be jumping around on both. All right, remember 1/2 inch seam allowance, not a 1/4 inch. I almost did a 1/4 inch just now. Glad I remembered in the nick of time. All right. You know what? I think I might back tack this just to make it a little more sturdy. Okay. Snip that. Snip this. Okay. Next up, clip the corner and turn right side out and press well. So we're only sewing this edge. So we're going to clip this corner. I'm just going to use my little scissors here. And that just means I'm going to cut like a little triangle out of this right on the edge. I'm not going to go right up to the stitches, but I'm going to get close still. There, just like that. That'll help kind of reduce the bulk when we turn this inside out, because all this bulk is going to go to the inside. All right, flip it right side out. And again, you can use, you know, a pencil or something to pop out the edge. I'm going to grab my T-pin again and just kind of pop it out. Just kind of grabbing the fabric, and I'm being gentle because I don't want to pick the threads of the fabric out, but there we go. A nice sharp point. All right, now we press this in half really well. Kind of this goofy wobbly piece right now, so we'll have to match these edges again, and you know what, I'm going to just run this along the inside here to kind of pop out the whole seam, so we have a nice good edge. Yeah, that's working. There we go. Let's press that, and we should be good to go. All right, again, I have this bottom edge and this left edge matched up, and we are just really trying to get this edge really nice, and then that top fold pressed at the same time. So the reason we don't have to sew these other edges is because they're going to be sewn into the final outside. Ultimately we're going to sew the back piece to the front piece in one giant big rectangle, and those edges will get caught in that big rectangle, so we don't need to do that. All right, I think we got a pressed piece. All right, so good. We have a nice edge there, really nice point. I'm liking it. Okay, now what? You should have 2 raw edges, right? We have those are raw edges. 1 folded edge on the top, and 1 sewn edge. Okay, so now we need our Velcro again. So I need to cut this to the 5 inches. Remember, I just kind of willy-nilly cut it last time, so let's get it at the 5 inches for real. I'm just going to use my cutting board as a guide. Grab this little ruler. I'm just going to trim each side off. So 5 inches. Yep, this is we are working on the inside left pouch. So right now we're moving on to the oh no, not yet. I'm gonna be sewing the Velcro onto the pouch, the one side of the Velcro, and then we'll do the flap for this. The flap will be in the green again. So this will be just like the flap that we did yesterday, and 2 days ago. I think that's what we started with yesterday, that flap. But first we need to put this Velcro on. So we need to, first of all, I need to switch to my top stitching thread again, my pretty orange thread. So let's do that. I'm gonna take my gray thread out of here. This is what I mean, switching back and forth between this top stitching thread and my little gray thread. But I do like the look of the top stitching, just that extra little top stitching detail by using this orange fatter thread. You don't have to use anything special for top stitching thread. You could just use the same thread that you're sewing with, but I don't know, I think it's pretty cute, adding the little bit extra. Oop, let's see if I can do this today. This thread is a little thicker, so it's tough to get through this needle. There we go. All right. And now I need to change my tension again and my stitch length, but I remember that from last time, so I could just keep switching back and forth. But all right, we're good. Back to the Velcro. All right, so we're doing the rough side of the Velcro first. All right. Stitch the rough side of a 5/8" piece of Velcro to the right side of the piece. So this is the right side. I'm guessing that's right side versus wrong side, so this is fine. 2.5 inches down from the folded edge to the lower part of the Velcro, like we did earlier, and 2 inches over from the right. Okay, so why don't we get the rulers out? We'll be all exact. So here's 2 inches from the sewn edge. And we'll grab the other ruler and we'll do 2.5 inches down from here. Actually, it's the lower edge of this is at the 2.5 inch mark. So I'm just gonna move the ruler out of the way there. So right about there looks good. I'm gonna actually glue that down though again with the little glue stick. I think that's been working really well for me, just to hold this in place while we work. So I'm gonna just flip this edge up, put a little glue on there. I think that still looks pretty good. Oop. Make sure it's straight, and then a little bit of glue there. I'm just kind of putting it in the middle because I'll be sewing on the edge and I don't want to gunk up my needle at all. All right, that looks good. That looks straight. Let's stitch that on. Yeah, and the right, align the 2 raw edges of this piece. Oh, yep, okay, so this is the next thing. I was reading a little too far ahead. Let's sew this on. I'm going to start at that lower right-hand corner again. Okay, looking good. So I'm sewing through both pieces of fabric. We got the 2 pieces of fabric here. That's when I was reading through the instructions first. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to just sew on the inside, but no, we're gonna sew through both layers of fabric here. All right. I'm gonna just do a little back tack on there, and here we go. This pretty pink Velcro. All right, one more stitch. There we are. Rotate up. Rotate again. This orange and pink especially, I think, is really pretty. Just one side sew. I got in later. I'm sewing through both. I just started oiling my machine, Ashley. So in theory, I'm wanting to start it to oil it in between projects, although I did not do that this time, and I should have by the bobbin. So I just learned how to oil it. I got the manual out and oiled it before the last project, and I'll be oiling in the bobbin around the same time. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cranky right now just because I'm sewing this Velcro, but I think the other times it wasn't sounding so mad. But yeah, it's a little cranky sounding sewing through all this Velcro. All right, so I'm snipping those edges. Yeah, last time when I oiled it, it sounded super nice right away. So yeah, I'll have to oil it again soon for sure. Okay, especially changing all this floss back and forth. All right, we got the Velcro sewn. Oh, you can notice a big difference with your machine. Yeah, I definitely need to do it again. All right, let's, what's next? Full edge and 2-inch, okay, we did that. Align the 2 raw edges of the piece with the 2 raw edges at the bottom left corner of the inner panel. Okay, let's see, then what? Align the 2 raw edges of the, baste the raw edges and top stitch the sewn edge. Okay, we can do that. So here is the inside piece again. I'm gonna make sure my grasshoppers are upright. And I'm going to align it this bottom left-hand edge here. Get this little guy out of the way, roll him up a little. So this is where, like, this is supposed to be on that 9-inch mark, but this was a little shy. So I think I'm gonna maybe just split the difference. So I'm going over like 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch over on the edge here. So I'm just going to move everything 1/8 of an inch over, and I'm just going to have shorter seam allowances at the 2 ends here. But I think that's the world I'm in right now with my piece. So, all right, just get that on there. And you know what? I think I'm going to throw a wonder clip at the bottom here. Ooh, I'm not really in line with this. Let's do this a little bit better. All right, so I'm aligning it to the bottom edge and just over. So I'm gonna top stitch here. I'm gonna just make a nice stitch along that edge, and then I'm going to stitch the rest of this. I just need to baste it on, so I'm gonna stitch it lower than my 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna go like 1/4 inch or maybe even less. And the purpose of that is just to hold this all in place while we work, really. All right, we'll throw one more on there just because, up on this side, so it's not flapping around everywhere. All right, but I'm gonna start right there. All right, let's get this in the machine. Actually, it'd probably be easier for me to do this stitch, but I don't know. We're gonna start up here and then we'll just keep turning. But I need to roll this up in my machine a little bit here so it fits. My extension table still isn't here. I thought it was supposed to come today, but I don't know. They must have changed the shipping because now FedEx says that it's not till end of day, like 9 p.m. tomorrow. So boo. All right, here we go. Gonna top stitch this on. Yeah, because ideally I would like this to lay flat while I sew. Like, yeah, already I can tell that it bent a little. So the extension table will help with that. Just back tacking that. All right, now we're ready. getting a little caught here. Just flattening it out. Might have a little funny bubble there, but oh well. All right, now I'm going lower than my 1/2" seam allowance again, just to base these bottom edge. The inner panel is the one with the interfacing. The inner panel, yeah, this is with that thinner interfacing. The outer panel is the one with the fleece. Correct. All right, now I'm just gonna hit these edges quick. Oh, fabric is moving quite a bit. It's not sliding how I'd like it. But I'm thinking that'll all be okay later too. All right, now this edge, just basting this. Again, I'm not at the 1/2" seam allowance. I'm shy of that on purpose. That 1/2" seam allowance is what we're gonna sew this whole thing together when we're done. All right. That is that. So that is the first part of our little pouch here. Oh, let's snip my little edge off here. My little thread, and from the back. Okay, so here we are. Let's flip this back around. So again, we are working just on this left edge tonight, so all this right edge is flippity-flopping over here. All right, there we are. Kind of tempted to give this a little press. I think I am going to do that because it kind of pulled a little. So let's just give this a little bit of a press. Try and get it to flatten itself out again a little bit. Get this fold kind of pressed again. All right, I feel better. Back down here. So next up is the pouch flap. So that's the little flap. So we're gonna make the flap just in the same way that we did the outer flap on the outside of this piece. So we're gonna be doing it with the green again. So ultimately, first of all, we don't need those anymore. Ultimately, this is going to, you know, be like this with some Velcro, and then you can flip it up. So what might be fun is, you know, see how all these grasshoppers go this direction? See, I wonder if this lines up a little bit better. No. So when we flip it up, what would be neat is if the grasshoppers were still upright. Yeah, like that. So there, that's fun. So they're upright here and they're upright when it's open. So let's see if I can manage that through this whole thing. So, all right, let's read the instructions. Just as you did the outer flap in step three, stitch the soft side of the Velcro 1 inch from the bottom and centered left to right. 1 inch from the bottom, centered left to right. Okay, so now let's think. So this is gonna be on the inside. So I kind of want it here, which is actually 1 inch from the top, unless we rotate it like this. So 1 inch from the bottom. Yeah, because that's how I'm going to want the Velcro to be. So I'm going to move this piece for now. You know what? I think we need to give this a good press too. So let's get that back up. All right, and we'll do the other piece too right away. I'm leaving it in the same position just so I can remember how I had it. Alrighty. Oh, it's harder than you thought with the directional. Yeah, the directional fabric. And luckily it's not that directional, so it's relatively, it's not, it could be worse, but yeah, there's some little things here and there with the directional fabric. So I'm actually going to put the Velcro here. I'm going to imagine that this is the top. Oh, but the Velcro, we want it 1 inch with like 1 inch in the middle here, right? Not 1 inch from, yeah, not like that. 1 inch from the top or from the bottom, but I rotated it, so it's at the top. So I want the middle to be at the 5 inches. So we need, first of all, it's impossible to see on top of working on the other piece. So 1 inch from the top and centered. So let's put this ruler at 1 inch and centered in this 10 inch. Would be right about there. Okay, great. I'm gonna give it a little glue. And we'll get that sewn on. I'm holding the other side in place while I do it. And you can pin or whatever, but I don't know, the glue's been working well for me so far. All right, I think we're straight. So I just did it to the top just so I could see the direction of my fabric. Actually, we might actually lose all these grasshoppers anyway, just because we might be sewing them into the seam allowance, but oh well. So, you know, but the instructions say sewed onto the bottom, so it's actually kind of like this. Oh, that looks like more than 1 inch though. No, it's 1 inch. All right, let's do it. Sew that guy on. All right. Again, I'm using my top stitching thread still. This pink is pretty with the green too. Yeah, it's just chunking along with this Velcro and the top stitching thread. My machine making that kind of loud noise. I don't think it was doing that with the normal thread and just stitching through fabric. One more. Okay. Ooh, I'm not quite sure I sewed that edge in. You know what? I think I gotta back up over that edge again. Oh well, it's gonna be a little wonky here. But I'd rather it hold itself together. I think I kind of missed the edge. Okay, there we go. See, so I missed the edge, so I sewed over it a little bit more. Not very discreetly, but oh well. All right, snipping those edges. Okay, so 1 inch from the bottom, centered left to right, round the corners. Okay, now we do that round corners and stitch the pieces right side together. So let's see. But now I need to turn this the other way, I think. Right sides together. And then when we turn it right side out, yep, then it'll be the correct direction. Okay, I think we got it. They just need to be in opposite directions here. Great. All right, so let's put the right sides together and let's draw our little corners. So last time I used I think just an Aurifil bit to draw my just the bobbin to draw my corners. So I'm going to mark that corner, that little arc. I could use a wider shape to make like a broader curve, but this is what I used for the front, so I'm going to just keep it consistent. All right, now I'm going to stitch with my 1/2 inch seam allowance around the edge there, like how we did for the front. And you know what? We could throw a wonder clip or two in here, I suppose. Just to hold it in place, especially since that Velcro is kind of bulky and in the way, so. Do one more over here. Okie-doke. Oh man, you guys, I picked 6 zucchinis from the garden today. Pretty excited about that and ate them for dinner. Not all 6, but you know, at least one by myself. So I am super duper excited to... Oh, you know what? I didn't switch threads. I think I am. You know what? Let's give it a try. I'm going to just stitch this all with my top stitching thread, see what happens. I didn't change back to my other thread. So you might be able to see some of this orange thread popping through, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, here's the start of my curve. I have to lift it up and move every single time, every single stitch. You might not have to do that with your machine, but it's a kind of a tight curve. There. Now back to that 1/2 inch. All right, approaching the second curve. A little bit tighter. Okay. And to the end. Snip. All right, so now we need to snip those edges, clip the corners basically. I'm going to use the my pinking shears again. I really kind of like using that for rounded corners. So I'm going to just go across this curve like that. Same thing with this side. I just like it better than cutting out little triangles. I'm kind of cutting out triangles with the actual pinking shears. Okay, now we turn this right side out and press and top stitch. Oh, I can't grab it. There we go. Cute, cute. This is a shorter flap than the other one. Just getting my finger in there to press it all out. Push all the little corners out. And I'm going to get my pencil in here again and try and push out these seams. So now the top stitching I want on the non-Velcro side so I can see it when it's closed. I'm going to just pick out these corners, these curves a little bit. Just kind of pushing them up a little. This one was a little tight. It's almost a point, but not quite. All right, let's press that and then give it a top stitching. I'm going to press it from this side just to make sure that this side ends up prettier, because this will be the front. And my grasshoppers are right side up, so we did okay. This side needs to be pulled out a hair. Okay. So I can still see a grasshopper in there. So I didn't completely sew them into the seam allowance, so that's good. Okay, let's top stitch this. This will be really pretty with that orange top stitching, I think. So I want the orange on this side because this is when the flap is closed. This is what it'll look like when it's open. So I want the top stitching here. Okay, getting around this curve now. Ooh, it looks really pretty, this orange on here. Stitching through the grasshoppers a little bit. Around the curve again with a couple stitches. All right. I think it looks great. All right, so that is the top, or that's that inner flap. So what is next? So we're not actually stitching it to this yet. We are gonna stitch it to, Velcro. We'll be stitching it to the crayon part next, and the crayon part goes up here. So I just wanna see what this looks like. Ah, cute, 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 cute. Love it. All right. Crayon divider. Here we are. Don't need that. All right, right sides, fold the crayon divider, right sides together so you have a 3-inch piece by a 10-inch piece. So like that. Let's press it again. It's pretty wrinkly. Just start out right. Okay. We are growing tomatoes, so I have eaten 2 cherry tomatoes so far, Irene, and that's all that we've had so far for tomatoes. But there's tons of tomatoes there. They're just all green yet. But yep, we got tomatoes. We have onions and garlic and some beets and peppers. We ate a pepper, but only because it fell off. It was green yet and small, but we ate it and it was good. Okay, so I think this is just like the other side where we just sew the one edge. Stitch along the right 3-inch side only. So we're gonna stitch right there. You know what, I'm gonna just keep this top stitching thread in. That seemed to work fine. And then I don't have to switch it all the time. Oh, I'm like, why isn't it working? Because we don't have it turned on yet. And then kale, I picked a bunch of kale today. Like when we buy lettuce, we save all the little plastic containers it comes in, and I filled up 3 of those with kale today and barely made a dent. So the garden's starting to do stuff. I'm excited. All right, let's clip that corner like we did earlier. Come on, little scissors. There we go. let's flip that right side out. So this is basically, we're doing this in the same way that we did the flap earlier, where we just do the one sewn edge and then the other side's folded. Again, I'm gonna kind of force this seam a little flat. We're almost done with this left edge, popping out that point, just really gently. There you are, now we got that good point. So now we will press this in half. I'm gonna kitty scratch the edges, like make sure these these raw edges are lined up nice. Pop this seam out again. All right, I think we're good. Get that, and then deal with this top fold. Okay, that is our crayon flap. Oh, and no bunnies. The fence that we did is completely keeping out the bunnies this year. They just run around the fence. They have not gotten in. However, the squirrels still get in, and they are eating. They ate a bunch of the leaves off, so they killed 3 of our plants, of our squash plants, and now they're eating little things here and there. So that's the next thing that we need to get rid of is the stupid squirrels now, but bunnies are taken care of this year. That was a huge problem last year. Okay, now we deal with the pouch flap again. So crayon divider, right sides together, so stitch along corner, right side, press well. All right, that's what we did. You should have 2 raw edges and then fold and sewn edge. All right, place the pouch flat, this guy, and the crayon divider right sides together, Velcro side out, so like this. Align the raw edges at the bottom and the sewn edges at the right. There'll be an extra amount here, so we're just lining it up at the right and the bottom edges. Okay, looking good. Just assuming we just sew on here, but I'm just gonna read. Velcro side out, aligning the raw edges together at the bottom and sewn edges at the right. They'll be 1/2 inch apart. Stitch across the bottom raw edge. Okay, and then we're gonna press the seam allowance up and the flap down. Okay, we can do that. So 1/2 inch again. But yeah, those squirrels are the only problem this year. Where's my stiletto? Oh, there we go, way over there. It's just thick at the beginning here, so I kind of want to help it through. So I am sewing at that 1/2 inch mark again. All right. Yeah, all these layers of fabric don't want to move at the same rate. Oh well. Sure, there's some trick that I have not mastered there. I'm going to just back tack it here and just sew to the edge. All right, we're going to press the seam allowance up and the flap down. All right, so seam allowance up. Give this a little press first. Seam allowance up, the flap down. All right, see, so our seam allowance is pointed upward and our flap is down, but I think I need to press that last little edge over here. All right, we're getting there, almost done. Okay, now place the divider flap combo above the pouch, aligning the Velcro and the left raw edges. Top stitch along the right and the bottom sewn edge of the crayon divider, just above the flap. Okay, so we're just gonna go and then base the ridge and then back up here. Great, that's easy. So let's get this guy back out. That is the big question, Anna. How are we gonna deal with the squirrels? I am not quite sure. We thought about trapping them, but that's not really working, and it doesn't matter like how high we put a fence, they're always gonna be able to climb over it. So that's not working. All right, so I just put the Velcro on here. And I think we're looking pretty good. So now I'm just gonna top stitch here, and I'm gonna top stitch on the orange side. As long as I'm on the orange side, then I shouldn't be hitting, like I don't wanna sew in my pocket, right? So as long as I'm up high enough on the orange, I shouldn't hit my pocket at all. And I'm just double checking that. Yeah, we should be fine. So, all right. The Velcro is kind of holding it in place, so I'm not gonna bother with pinning it. You know, yeah, I know we need a cat, right? We looked up on ways to get rid of the squirrels, and that was actually one of the suggestions is have a dog or a cat. I'm like, I don't know. That opens up a whole other can of worms of issues. But yeah, kitty would be nice. All right, we're top stitching here. Again, here's where my extension table would be nice, but oh well. It'll get here eventually, maybe. All right, back tacking that. All right, here's where I need to stay on the orange, and I think I'm gonna go right there. I'm not gonna go another stitch over. Man, I'm concentrating tonight. You can always tell when I'm concentrating because I stopped talking for a little while. It's kind of funny. All right, we are almost done top stitching this, and then again, we're gonna just baste this edge, which just means I'm gonna sew up that edge. Ooh, it's pretty with this top stitching. And there's just one little step left on this, and I think we're gonna do it yet tonight. All right, snip that. Look at, we got a total pocket here going. That's kind of a neat deal. Getting this little crayon pocket up here. Snip this back piece. Little thread yet. All right, we should have a functional pocket at this point. Let's see if I sewed it. Good. I didn't sew it shut, so that's good. Funny, I can see my thread from here. Oh well. All right, cute. There's my pocket. Pretty. All right, and then now I got this area up here. So this is the crayon area. So the last thing we need to do to finish off this left side is we are going to divide this piece into 9 equal 1-inch channels for the crayons. So I'm going to start from here and just mark like 9 or like 1-inch wide pieces. But I don't think this is actually... Oh, look, I busted the end of this. I must have dropped it. Oh yeah, so here's the 9 inches. But this is kind of like will be in the seam allowance almost. Let's read this again quick. Base the raw edges and divide this piece into 9 equal channels, 1 inch wide for the crayon. Stitch 8 vertical lines and backstitch to reinforce the top and bottom. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. I'm going to get my marker out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to be sewn in a little when we're done, and this one has this seam here, but I think I'm going to just do it by the inch because that'll just be easiest. So I'm going to just mark these, and then I'll use the ruler to draw lines down. And I'll leave that last one open because that'll be sewn in the seam. Okay, great. You know what? Maybe I'll just leave that ruler there, and we can just butt up against it with this ruler at each of those points. Keep sliding along. Guess I didn't need to mark those points at the top if I was going to do it this way. Yay, this is going to be so cute. I was considering maybe making these different sizes to hold something other than crayons, but I think crayons are fine. Like I was almost thinking of turning this into like a watercolor travel folio and like putting little watercolor things in here, but I don't think I have any, so that doesn't really matter. All right, so now we're gonna sew these. We're gonna top stitch at the top and bottom. I think I'm gonna start sewing these all at the bottom because what I don't wanna have happen is start at the top and then it just gets like bunched at the bottom. So I'm gonna start at the bottom and go towards the top on each one of them. So let's give that a try. We'll start on, yeah, I'm gonna start all the way over here and then work my way this way. Just again, because I don't want it to keep bunching up this way. I'd want it to bunch out towards the edge, I think. Thinking ahead, because it's been a little bunchy for me. Just meaning like the top edge of the fabric, or yeah, the top fabrics I'm having, it's like moving at a different pace than the bottom sometimes. So, all right, oop, get that thread underneath here. Top stitch at the top and bottom. I still have my, or back stitch, I mean, back tack. I'm still using my top stitching thread though. All right, I'm gonna add a little back tack. I'm actually gonna cross over the edge. All right. I might just try jumping down here and seeing how that goes. That doesn't always make my machine happy, but we'll give it a try. I think it'll be easier than undoing it every single time. All right, that's the first line. Next line. All right, back tack. Wow, this was a lot when I was looking at the instructions tonight, I was like, oh, this is a lot to get done in one evening, but we're totally doing it. We'll just go a couple minutes over, but not really. All right, I'm just, you know, the back tacking is reinforcing those top areas. All right, next one. Looking good. Then we just have to trim all these threads and that's it. Oh yeah, I already basted that last edge down. I don't know, this is looking pretty neat if you ask me. I'm really liking this project so far. I've never done like a, you know, a bag or something this detailed before, so this is neat. All these little pockets and all the little interfacings and double folds on all these. It's kind of neat. Hey, Lorraine. couple more here. Three more, and then that's it. Alrighty, cruising. This had a lot of stuff going on this left side. Made a whole pocket with a Velcro flap and a crayon divider. I can see now why we would want the interfacing on the back of this, though, on the big piece here, this interfacing, because we are sewing a lot to it, and just to have that extra little stiffness to the fabric is really probably helping us a ton. I'll have to go find some crayons. I know I have some. We'll have to give this a little test tomorrow. All right, here's my last one. Oop, get in there, thread. And that's it. Okay. Let's take this off, and I'm gonna quickly snip all my little jumps that I made there, starting with the last thread. I always do the fronts first because then I can pull the little extra bit on the back. It's cute. I'm liking it. And yeah, I'm happy that I chose a fun top stitching color. There's tons of top stitching in this. It's almost primarily top stitching, so to play with that a little bit has been kind of neat. All right, let's flip it to the back. And I probably wouldn't need to snip all these. Actually, I might not snip them, I might just open them up. Oh, here's a big long thread though. There, we'll just release them. How about that? Okay, and that's it. We have the left side of the interior done here. Oh, look at it with all the colors here. I'm gonna spread it out so we can see. There, so here's the left side. So we got our pocket, just looking awfully cute. The little Velcro, our little crayon guys. There we go, fun. Okay, and I think that is it tonight, guys. So tomorrow we will do the big paper pad holder here, and I don't know, maybe we might get all the way through both of these edges, which would be great. So tomorrow's Friday. Monday will actually be my last day in town for a little while, so if we could get this done by Monday, that would be perfect timing. So let's shoot for 2 more days here. So I think tomorrow, it seems, just looking at those photos, it seems relatively easy. This piece and this piece. I think this was definitely with the flap, the kind of biggest area. And then I'm guessing all we do is sew the front to the back. I don't know, we'll see. I think we can get this done. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll call it an evening. Hello, so here we go. Our inside flap here. Oh, it's so cute. And I'll have to find some crayons to stick in there. I'm liking it, and we got it so that I'd still have some grasshoppers right side up there. You don't see any grasshoppers up here anymore, but that's okay. I got a little taste of grasshoppers there. And it's neat with these contrasting colors. So, all right, I'm loving it. Yeah, I think let's try and finish the whole interior tomorrow, Friday, and then Monday, hopefully we can finish up the rest of this. My guess, I haven't looked at the instructions, but my guess is we sew the front and the back, flip it right side out, and then properly top stitch around the whole thing. And that's probably it. But we'll, you know, I haven't read the instructions that far yet. We'll see. But yeah, we're getting her done. Be sure to share your guys' progress in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. Again, it's been really fun seeing progress in there. And I'll get back in that group again soon. If you guys don't know, the trip that I'm taking, we're going to be pitching our products again to Joann Fabrics. We have a bunch of our embroidery kits and patterns in Joann's right now, and they asked us to pitch again, so that is next week. So we'll be leaving Tuesday for that, so Monday will be the last day for about a week or so. I might not be back till the Tuesday or Wednesday after that. So yeah, if we can get this project done on Monday, then ooh, then I'll be able to use it on the trip. That'd be cool. So awesome, guys. I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and it will also stay here on the Penguin and Fish page. The Penguin and Fish page is different than the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So if you are having trouble watching these videos, make sure that you've liked the Penguin and Fish page. That's where the videos go up live. So awesome. Thanks again, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. Good night.